On today's Top 5 Friday, we're going to be talking about games I've never beat but I really should have. No, I'm not losing my mind during the lockdown. You're losing your mind during the lockdown. Ugh.
But before we do that, let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. Today's sponsor. Today's Top 5 Friday is sponsored by Skillshare. Have you ever wanted to learn a new skill? Well, now is the perfect time with Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community of millions that are for creative and curious people like yourselves, and me too. On this site, you can learn so many skills ranging from music to fine art, to graphic arts, to filmmaking, to video making. It has so much stuff. You can stay inspired, express yourself, and you get introduced to this vast community of millions of people that are like-minded. I'm deep into the post-production of our first movie, and color grading is a huge step in that. And there are some really good color grading classes, and I decided to take one from an instructor named Dan. And one of the great things I took from that is the mood that you can set from different colors and the importance of skin tone, because if your skin tone's off in your color grading, then it all looks whack, and we don't want that. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they are always offering new premium classes, meaning that you can just kind of take off in any direction your creativity takes you. You can click the link below, and the first 1,000 subscribers that do so get 2 free premium months to try out Skillshare for absolutely free. Click below and let's get creative.
Oh, it's Friday night. Don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday. Top 5 Friday tonight.
Number 5 on the list. Yep, I'm going to be talking about Battletoads again. Battletoads. The first time I ever played that game, I had pink eye, so I can kind of use that as an excuse of why I did terribly. The second time I rented that game, I just realized that I absolutely sucked in it. I'm not the only one. That game is hard. And look, I don't think that I'm ever going to beat it. It's impossible. The turbo tunnel isn't even that hard. All you gotta do is kind of memorize it and just be persistent with it. Have somewhat quick reactions, you'll be fine. You get through the turbo tunnel easily. It's what lies after the turbo tunnel, man. The flaw, I feel as though, is that it punishes you if you've never played it before. So much of the later levels is pure memorization. Death traps that are there that if you hadn't been through that place before, they come out of nowhere and kill you. Especially the pipe one. I'm never going to beat that game. I want to. I just wanted to do it so I can say I beat Battletoads. Alright, so next on the list is Winwaker. I absolutely loved Winwaker, but I never finished the game. I think I just don't want it to end. There are so many games out there that I got so close to the end and I never actually finished. So honestly, this list could be extremely long, but I kind of narrowed it down to the top 5. And this is definitely on that top 5 because I am such a huge Zelda fan. And I spent so much time just exploring the ocean, going to every nook and cranny, going to every island, just seeing everything I could possibly see, turning over each stone and just trying to find every secret. I spent so many hours. I think I got to the point where I was just kind of like, yeah, let's take a break from it, right? And I never picked it back up. You ever do that? Like you'll set a game down thinking full well, like I'll pick it back up here in a day or so, and it just never happens. And hey man, it's been what, like 18 years later? Yeah, that's number 4 for you, Winwaker. This is another one that's borderline impossible, and that's Contra III. I feel as though I've talked about this on another top 5, but not for this reason. But Contra III is definitely one of my favorite games. Loved it on the Super Nintendo. I actually owned the game on Super Nintendo. And I beat it multiple times on easy and even on medium. And even on medium, you don't get the correct ending. Hell, on medium, you don't even get an ending at all. It just tells you you're a pussy and to go beat it on hard. But every time, from a child even to recently, as in this month, I've tried playing it on hard, and it's impossible. For whatever reason, this game has kind of an odd difficulty curve. Let me explain it to you this way. So easy is easy. Medium, it ramps it up pretty good, right about here. You would think that hard would ramp it up, you know, on a natural incline to go about like this. But what ends up in reality happening is that it goes from easy, medium, to hard. The gap between medium and hard is way, way too wide. It's completely out of whack. Hard is borderline impossible. The bullets come so fast. It's Number 2 on the list, Zelda, the original Zelda. I have 2 Zelda games on this list. Well, anyway, the first Zelda is a game that I never owned. I didn't play as a kid. It wasn't until I became a collector, and that's so odd to say. One of the most beloved games in video game history, and so many, I would say like 90% of the gamers out there just absolutely love that and grew up playing it. I never touched it. It's so crazy to me. But anyway, I tried playing it as an adult, and I'm like, well, this is really good. I can understand totally why people like this. And I got to the maze where it's like you don't know where to go. You have to go on a certain thing, a certain way. I ended up like putting it down and never picking it back up again. I feel bad. I do feel guilty. As a gamer, I feel like I should have that beaten under my belt, you know, for some cred, and I don't. That sucks. I will beat it eventually. Hell, maybe I'll even do it on a stream one day. Or a video or whatever. Now, before we get to number 1, I want to do something a little different. I figured it would be a really cool idea on these top 5s to maybe bring in a guest every once in a while and let them give you one of their answers. So, without any further ado.
What's up, guys? I'm JLove81, and the game that I have been trying to beat since I was a kid, I've been playing forever, and I've yet to beat Mylon's Secret Castle. This game's extremely difficult and frustrating. You have 1 life, and when you die, that is it. Game over. No continues. There's a way that you can continue, but there's a catch to it. So I'm not going to give that away, but I am telling you, you get bubbles for weapons. The enemies keep respawning over and over again. This is definitely on my bucket list, so eventually I think we'll get the W. Thanks a lot, guys.
Number 1 on the list, I have as number 1 because it is one of my favorite games, and it's the one I've been trying to beat the longest. The original TMNT on NES. I have so much nostalgia for this game. One of the few I actually owned on Nintendo. I only had like 3 to 4 Nintendo games, and that was one of them. And I tried so many times to beat that game, and I just could never do it. And the place that I always get defeated is once you get inside the Technodrome. I could always beat the Technodrome itself. Just you spam it with scrolls, you're fine. But once you get inside the Technodrome, it becomes criminally insane. And the reason I do have it as number 1 is because I love the game. Some people hate it. I think it's great. That's one of the games I feel like I'm the most nostalgic for. One of the top, I would say definitely a top 5 nostalgic game. Because I played it so much. I just fell in love with it as a kid. And every time I hear the music and see the graphics and the sound effects and all that, I'm just kind of taken back. It just transports me back to that time of my grandmother's playing Nintendo and eating nachos. I don't know why, but it's like such a vivid memory, and that is definitely one of the reasons I freaking love that game, and I feel like I have to beat it, and it has been what it came out like in 88, 89. I think it's 88, right? It's been over 20. It's been over 30 years. It's been over 30 years. So I definitely want to beat that game at some point, and I feel like I'm going to. Just gotta give it a little bit more time. But anyway, thank you for watching. I want to know what your favorite games I want to know what your games that you've never beaten are. in the comments below. And thank you for our guest. I appreciate it. Go check out the channel down below and take care.